39th pick in 2013. Possible MVP of the 2022 season, Geno Smith.
Yeah, right.
So when people say the Jets can't draft quarterbacks, they drafted Geno Smith, who is an MVP candidate and is in the running for best quarterback in the NFC. And they drafted him. They had him.
But he was 8-8 with the Jets, wasn't he, that one year? And then the fight, and it just was like circumstance took
He
over.
went to the Giants. He got buried behind Eli. Then he was basically Russell Wilson's backup. He did have one of those. It's almost like when remember when we knew John Hamm John Hamm before Mad Men,
right?
And it was like, oh, that's Jennifer's boyfriend. Oh, he's an actor. It's like, oh, cool. And then he's got this show Mad Men. It's like, oh, that sounds cool. That's great. Mm-hmm. And then he turned into John Hamm. Geno, he's like the fucking John Hamm of QBs.
He is?
Bounced around for 10 years.
We're going to see him sidling up next to Flo in the progressive ads. I could see it. Geno should have some progressive ad. Yeah. Let's see your voice. Let's hear your voice, Geno. I like rooting for that team, especially when they're playing the Giants, but they're a lot of fun. And they play defense. That defense allowed one touchdown today. I think they've had 2 games with 1 touchdown and 1 with 2 in the last 4. Like they really play D. They got the fans back. Talk about fans.
Oh my God.
The Rams must look at that and be like, what the hell? We'll never come close to that. But at least that place is loud and you know what you're getting every week out of those fans. And then you got Kenny Walker, the third. Great pickup.
The most unorthodox runner in the league, except for the guy on Washington. Walker,
Robinson. Yeah,
he's got this herky-jerky stutter start game, and he carries the ball in the wrong hand like 2/3 of the time. Like the touchdown he had today, he's running right to left with the ball in his right hand as guys are trying to tackle him. But he gets by everybody. He's like a legit weapon. They got 2 good receivers, and Lockett stunk today. And there was this moment when they came out of commercial and Geno was coming over just trying to pull Lockett back in because Lockett had a big fumble. He dropped a touchdown, hit his helmet, and they go over and they show Geno just trying to kind of bring him back in like a real leader. And I was like, oh, this is a nice moment. This isn't like a Russell Wilson, I know the cameras are on me moment. This is just, I need to get this guy back. We have a chance to win this game. I'll tell you this. I was going to bet Seattle all week. And I was afraid of the Giants because they've just over week after week, they pull games out of their ass. Fourth quarter, you think you have it, they do something. And I was like, I think this can go down to 2.5, and never did. It stayed at 3, and I stayed away. And I was so mad because Seattle's home field is just with this team and Geno not making mistakes. They're going to be a really hard team to play as we head into November, December, January.
I agree. And that whole thing, when I saw it too, with Geno coming over to the sideline, I'm like, oh, is this another thing where the young quarterback goes to the guy who's been around a while? And that's like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah. Geno's been playing quarterback since 1984 in the NFL. Like this actually makes sense. So you're right. There's that leadership, not annoying leadership quality versus what you're exactly right. What Russ offers Denver. And that team is pissed they won because now it's just high knees in the aisles for the next 10 weeks. On every flight. It's going to be awful for them.
Well, after the game, Tyler Lockett said, it's amazing what we can accomplish when no one cares who gets the credit. Just the fucking drive-bys at Russ are unbelievable. Like, there's guys like Sherman and Marshawn and people like that are just, they're just coming out and firing bullets. And then there's like all the stuff like that. A lot of, I didn't realize, I think the diehard Seattle fans kind of knew, but they didn't want to admit it. But I didn't realize how dysfunctional the Russ thing was. I think it was way worse than we thought. And then it was like Pete's holding Russ back. It's like, is he? This is the kind of team Pete wanted to coach.
I can't believe. I think just dozens of guys were waiting for him to lose. Right? It's like, oh man, why do we tolerate this? We've all worked with people like this, but he is productive. I can see why they keep him around. He's a good earner. Wait a minute. He can't complete a pass over the middle. All right. Okay. Let's start talking. We ship this guy off. Yeah. So.
Well, Geno for the season, 107 QB rating, 13 TDs, 3 picks. He's thrown for almost 2,000 yards, and he leads the league in completion percentage, which can be a bogus stat from time to time. But you have the combo of they're getting big plays. he's protecting the ball, which was a problem with him in the past. And he keeps the chains moving. And I don't know. I think it's a legitimate team. I feel
like he throws downfield. I know he's in the 70s for completion percentage, but it's not a Drew Brees type. It's not a 40-yard check down to Kamara. He throws downfield a lot.
He does the thing that Kyle and I are just going nuts about with Mac. Like, just every once in a while, 3-step drop, just try to get your receiver to make a play. Just throw it downfield. Just put it in the air. Let your guy go up and get something. They have Lockett and they have Metcalf. So their over-under for the season was 5.5. They were 50-1 on FanDuel to win the division. They were 71 to win the conference. They were plus 540 to win the playoffs before the season. And I don't remember whether we went over. Oh, I guess I went over on that one. I don't remember what you did. They have next games. They're at Arizona, at Tampa.
Right.
Vegas.
Versus Tampa. I think they're home for Tampa. Yeah. Actually, that's a Germany
that Tampa's
game.
away. Yeah, it's a Germany game.
Germany game. Yeah.
And then they have another San Francisco game. They have a Kansas City game at Kansas City on Christmas Eve. And
that's going to be exciting, that 49ers game in Seattle, December 15th. That's a night game, too. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, I think they're going to get to 10 wins. Don't you?
Yeah, I do. They may only need 9 for that division, but I think they get to 10. They're a fun team. And listen, as a Cowboys fan, I know we're probably, if we don't win the division, much, much, much rather go to Atlanta and even Tampa, who beat us, than I would Seattle in the playoffs.
Right. So how I laid that out for you, if you're the top wild card, assuming you can't beat Philly, I would guess you're going to play the NFC South, whoever comes out of there. So would you rather go to Tampa, Atlanta, New Orleans, or Carolina?
Oh, just out of those 4. Yeah.
But you'd rather go to Carolina, but they're probably not going to make it.
That's the 4 or 5. Oh man. If Micah Parsons can't figure out Marcus Mariota, then something's wrong. I'm sorry. I know you hate that game and I don't know when you want to talk about it, but another stupid win for the Falcons.
Let's talk about it now. Just to put a bow on Geno.
Yeah.
I think he's like the king of Seattle right now.
Hall of Fame.
I think he's like the most popular guy in Seattle. Like, how do you not love that story? Love that guy? You trade Russ away. You get this Hall back. You get Geno in his place. This incredible redemption story. What's a better story than that? It's him and Julio Rodriguez.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly. It's got to be those two.
And whenever the Sonics come back.
I don't know what. Does he get comeback player of the year or there's no most?
Oh, he has to. Wait, create a new award for him. Create the Geno Smith I Thought You Were Dead award and give it to Geno Smith.
It's too early. They didn't renew the odds, but it refreshed the odds. But yeah, I think he passed Barkley today in terms of being in the top of the leaderboard there for comeback player.
Well, you and I are old enough to remember like this bigger versions of this. Jim Plunkett, number 1 pick for the Patriots overall, 1970. Gets the shit kicked out of him for 6 years, ends up getting waived, goes to the Niners. Oh, no, they traded him Niners. Gets waived, ends up on the Raiders, ends up in a couple Super Bowls, right? That's like the best one. There was a Vinny Testaverde redemption where he was on the Browns, then Parcells loved him, had him on the Jets for a while. This is probably closer to Testaverde, but still considering like he never had a moment and he was never a number 1 pick.
Yeah.
And even heading into the preseason, it was like, it's going to be him or Drew Lock. And nobody was like, that's crazy. How is it not Geno Smith? Because he'd never really done anything.
And don't forget, they beat Denver that first week, right? And it's like, oh, that's good. That's funny. I get a kick out of this. It calms all the Russ lovers and the Denver lovers down for a minute. Then they lost it next 2. So it's like, all right, this is the rebuilding team we knew. And then they got it back going again. Fun team for sure.